Have you ever wondered what makes someone abandon everything, honor, title, their very life, for a baby they just met? I'm not talking about a father protecting his child. That's instinct. I'm talking about a warrior at the peak of his glory, about to become the most powerful man in the sanctuary, throwing it all away for a child he didn't even know existed until minutes ago. A decision made in seconds that changed the destiny of all humanity. This is the story of Aiolos of Sagittarius, and his sacrifice isn't just one of the most emotional moments in Saint Seiya, it's a lesson in what it truly means to be a hero. Let's set the scene. The sanctuary was the center of the world, the place where the Gold Knights, Earth's most powerful warriors, protected the goddess Athena. 13 years before the saga we know, everything seemed in order. The Grand Pope commanded with wisdom, the knights served with loyalty, and Aiolos of Sagittarius was the brightest star among them all. At just 14 years old, Aiolos was already a gold knight. 14 years old, man. While we were worried about math tests, this kid had already earned one of the most powerful cloths in the universe. And it wasn't just power. Aiolos was respected by everyone, admired, loved. He was the natural candidate to become the next Grand Pope. Imagine that position. You have the world in the palm of your hand. All you need to do is keep being loyal, keep serving, and soon you'll command the most powerful army on Earth. Your future is guaranteed. Your glory is certain. And then you discover a truth that destroys everything. On that fateful night, Aiolos was doing his rounds through the sanctuary. Everything normal, everything calm, until he heard a baby's cry coming from a direction that didn't make sense. From the Grand Pope's temple. What he found changed everything. The Grand Pope, or rather the person everyone thought was the Grand Pope, was about to kill a baby, a defenseless little girl, with a golden dagger raised, ready to plunge into her heart. Aiolos didn't think, didn't calculate, didn't weigh the pros and cons. He simply acted. In an instinctive movement, he stopped the blow and took the baby in his arms. And in that moment, looking at the child, he felt something he couldn't explain. A different cosmos, a divine energy. This wasn't just any child. It was Athena, the reincarnated goddess, humanity's hope. And the man trying to kill her? Saga of Gemini. The knight everyone believed was the most virtuous, the most noble, had been consumed by his own darkness. He had killed the true Grand Pope, Shone, and assumed his identity. And now, to ensure his absolute power, he needed to eliminate the only person who could expose his deception, the very goddess he swore to protect. Aiolos understood everything in seconds, and he also understood what this meant for him. If he denounced Saga, who would believe him? Saga was adored. Saga was perfect in everyone's eyes, and the Grand Pope? Everyone thought it was Shone, the wise elder. Aiolos would be seen as the traitor, the madman, the envious one who invented an absurd story to seize power. But none of that mattered, because in his arms was a child who needed to live. Aiolos fled. With baby Athena in his arms, he ran through the sanctuary, knowing every second counted. Saga wouldn't let him escape. The entire lie depended on Aiolos's silence, on his death, and then came the blow. Shura of Capricorn, another gold knight, young, loyal, completely manipulated by Saga's lies. To Shura, Aiolos was a traitor trying to kidnap an innocent baby. He didn't know. He couldn't have known. And when his Excalibur cut across Aiolos's back, he thought he was delivering justice. The cut was deep, fatal. Aiolos knew there was no turning back, but he didn't stop. Bleeding, dying, vision darkening, Aiolos kept running. Every step was agony. Every breath was a battle, but he couldn't stop, not while Athena was still in danger. He reached the outskirts of Rodorio, a village near the sanctuary, and there, with the last of his strength, he found a man, Mitsumasa Kido, a stranger, someone he had never seen before. And Aiolos did something that required more faith than any battle he had ever fought. He trusted. He placed Athena in that stranger's arms, told him the truth, begged him to protect the child, and along with the baby, he gave him his golden cloth, the Sagittarius cloth, his most precious possession, his identity. He gave everything, and then Aiolos of Sagittarius died, at 14 years old, alone, branded as a traitor, without anyone knowing the truth about his sacrifice. For 13 years, his name was synonymous with shame in the sanctuary. Knights spat when they heard his name. Children learned he was the example of what not to do. The traitor, the coward, the monster who tried to kill the goddess. 13 years of lies, but the truth has a way of surviving, even when everything conspires against it. When Seiya and the Bronze Knights finally reached the sanctuary, when the Holy War truly began, Aiolos' story resurfaced. Gradually, the Gold Knights discovered they had been deceived, that the Grand Pope was an impostor, that Aiolos wasn't a traitor, he was a hero, and that Sagittarius cloth he gave away, it saved Seiya more times than anyone can count. Every time things seemed impossible, every time defeat was certain, the golden cloth appeared, as if Aiolos' spirit was still fighting, still protecting. The most devastating part of this story is thinking about what Aiolos lost. He never saw Athena grow up, never saw the Bronze Knights he inspired, never saw his honor restored, never received thanks, recognition, nothing. He died thinking he might have failed, that maybe that man wouldn't take care of the child, that maybe it had all been in vain, and still, he made the right choice. This is what separates true heroes from everyone else. It's not doing the right thing when you know everything will work out. It's doing the right thing with no guarantees. It's sacrificing everything for something greater than yourself, knowing that maybe no one will ever know. Aiolos didn't fight for glory, didn't fight for recognition. He fought because an innocent child would die if he didn't act, and that was enough. Saint Seiya has dozens of epic battles, incredible transformations, absurd techniques. But no moment is more powerful than a 14-year-old boy running through the darkness, bleeding to death, protecting a baby who represents the hope of a world that doesn't even know she exists. The Sagittarius didn't just change Athena's destiny, he changed the destiny of us all. And you, if you had to choose between your life and doing the right thing, without anyone ever knowing, what would you do?